Welcome to the MSJC Internet Authoring Videocast.
In this video, you'll be learning how to complete Guided Practice 11B. For this guided practice, we want to introduce you to the concept now of constructors. So in our last video, we had a set rectangle method that we used to actually modify the length and the width of our rectangle. So we're going to use the same two files as we did here before, same project, My Shapes. So we want to just go into rectangle. So below the data section, but above our custom method there, we're going to go ahead and create a public constructor of rectangle. And we're going to make this a working constructor. So a working constructor is, remember, the constructor that basically will take all possible parameters. So for our rectangle then, we want to go ahead and put in here length and width as our parameters. And then just like we did with set rectangle, we go ahead and use the this keyword, which we'll call the set rectangle method, and then pass to it both length and width as parameters. So that would be the working constructor. Now we also want to have a default constructor, so we'll create public rectangle. And what the public rectangle is going to do is just create a default value. So we're going to use the this keyword. So this is referring to our rectangle class here. And it'll call the working method, or the working constructor I should say, and we'll pass default value of 1 for the length and 1 for the width there. So now if we go back and we run this in My Shapes, let's just take these two out for the moment here. So we're still creating when we call main in My Shapes, so that's, remember, the starting point of our application. Then we're going to create the instance of two rectangles. We'll call the first one R1 and the second one R2. But if we don't pass in any values, then the default constructor, which assigns a value of 1 for length and a 1 for width, will kick in. So let's go ahead and run this and then see the output. So both of those rectangles are created with a 1 length, 1 width value. So the area obviously is 1 times 1, which is going to be 1 as the area for both of those. But of course, if we want to override that default value, then we just take each of our instances, R1 and R2, and we pass values of length and width to them. And then when we run that, you can see we get 12 for the R1, 30 for the R2, because R1 is going to be 3 times 4, R2 is 5 times 6. Now if we wanted to invoke our working constructor, let's go ahead and just comment these two calls to our method, to the set rectangle method. And instead what we'll do is we'll go ahead and put our length and our width values here when we use the new keyword. So this actually creates the situation where we're making a call to the working constructor, passing the values in, assigning them to our rectangles, R1 and R2 instances, and then just outputting them using the area methods down here below. So let's go ahead and run this. And you see now we're getting our outputs of 3 times 4, 12, and 5 times 6 is 30. So a little demonstration of how to set up My Shapes so that we invoke the default constructor, and also how to invoke the working constructor. So not a lot of difference from what we saw previously, just adding in constructors now into our custom class here, rectangle. So we have the working constructor here, which takes the maximum parameters, so length and width for a rectangle, And then we have the default constructor here, which just simply calls this working rectangle and passes default values to it. So for the guided practice, what you need to do is make the same modifications now for your box class. Add a working constructor, add a default constructor to your box class, and then implement your instances of your box class within the My Shapes class. So that's it for now. Until next time, happy coding. If you liked this video, please click the like button and leave us a comment down below. I also would appreciate it if you would subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also, click the notification bell so that you'll be notified when new videos are posted.